All right. We watched what happened with Clavicular yesterday. Check out exactly what happened regarding the overdose, all right?
So, breaking news in the incel internet world, the live streamer Clavicular just overdosed live on camera. So let's talk about what...
God, you didn't even see the video. Give me a moment. Just remember this little part. Wait a minute. Just 1 second.
Holy me.
This shit, dude. Look at this fucking guy.
How do you feel? When did you last take blues? You want natty?
Look,
You want natty?
he says you want a fucking Addy. You want an Addy. This guy. 10 out of 10 friend right there.
what he overdosed on, because it's kind of confusing. He did not overdose on some ordinary shit. So to start out, if you don't know who Clavicular is, huge live streamer. Basically, he's famous for similar things for Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, those kind of like guys who are in the space of just speaking to young men, incels, who are just, you know, so angry that they're not getting laid, basically. He's very young, like very early 20s. And his whole thing that makes him different is that he's all about looks maxing. Basically doing whatever it takes to become the most beautiful.
Look, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the looks maxing thing, but frankly, look, I don't really give a fuck, to be honest. I think it's a little much. It's a little... I don't know. It's a little odd, but the fact of the matter is, I mean, who gives a fuck?
Version of yourself, you know, smashing your facial bones to stimulate bone growth, and like he does some absolutely
that shit's autistic,
insane stuff. But he's also famous for being pretty open about his recreational drug use, more specifically meth.
You do meth?
Yeah, I haven't done meth in 2 weeks, but I do meth, yeah.
He hit him with the classic, I haven't done it in 2 weeks though, to kind of show like, see, I'm not addicted, which I get. I've definitely hit people with that before. I think I've seen him do many interviews and many people ask him about his meth use, and I think in those interviews and just generally, when people hear that someone does meth...
I didn't know he actually openly did meth. I thought he took like some fake Adderall or something. That's news to me.
They assume that someone is addicted to meth. They don't think that people can casually do it or do it in a regulated way, which is not true. Actually, many people casually do meth, and literally, like, if you don't believe me, that's fine. Many of your grandmas might have been prescribed it in the 40s and 50s for weight loss, for narcolepsy. Meth was very, very common throughout the entire world. Japan, Germany, America, as a prescribed medication for much of the mid-1900s. So yeah.
I don't know if it being common makes it okay, but sure.
You can casually do meth. I don't think that's what he's doing. I think he might have a little bit of a problem. But yes, you can casually do meth. But all that aside, let's look at some reasons for why he says he does meth.
It's meth. Why do you do meth?
Well, because meth is very similar in terms of its makeup to something like Adderall, but it's got a little bit better psychoactive benefits, meaning the Adderall has levoamphetamine in it, which is a physical stimulant. And that's not necessarily ideal for a lot of the things that I'm doing, you know, maybe task-oriented stuff sitting on a computer. So why do I need a physical stimulant? And meth also has a longer half-life.
Okay, the kid kind of knows ball, but also I don't totally know what the fuck he's talking about. So, first off, he is kind of right. Meth is very similar to stuff that's in Adderall. Now, Adderall actually contains two
I'm pretty sure, as far as I know, if you're taking meth orally versus you're taking Adderall orally or basic levoamphetamine or dextroamphetamine, as far as I know, the effects are essentially the same. It depends on how you take it. Like for meth, for example, you often may smoke it or shoot it, as in you inject it into a vein. So I believe that's what makes meth super different, because by doing that, it's immediately getting into the bloodstream. You're immediately in high. Smoking it takes like 2 minutes to peak off the high. When it comes to Adderall, though, you're usually taking orally, and if you're gonna misuse it, you might be able to take it you might be able to snort it or something. But fact of the matter is, you're generally just taking it orally. It takes like 40 minutes to an hour to even start feeling it. I think that's what makes the biggest difference. I don't think the actual chemical difference is much at all.
active ingredients. It's two types of amphetamine. There's levoamphetamine, like he said, and then dextroamphetamine. And its dextroamphetamine is 75%, levoamphetamine is only 25%. Now, if you look at the molecule of, let's say, dextroamphetamine and then compare it to methamphetamine, you can see that they're very, very similar.
You can see that, but the fact of the matter is just something being similar to another drug doesn't make it similar. I mean, melatonin is similar to psilocybin. Doesn't mean that you're gonna trip off of fucking melatonin.
That's because they're both amphetamines. They're both in the same class of drugs called phenethylamines, which is a very big class of drugs, though. So don't make the mistake of just because a chemical looks similar to another means that it's the same, right? Phenethylamines also includes mescaline, which is the psychoactive ingredient in San Pedro cactus, which is like a super, super psychedelic drug. But I do kind of agree with him. Adderall is very similar to meth in a lot of ways. In fact, like I've said many times in my videos, I've accidentally eaten meth because a lot of the street Adderall...
Accidentally? Not around this block. We're doing this shit on purpose. Just kidding. Only once.
You buy is just meth pressed in there, and you don't always know. The only way that you can really tell...
That's true. If you're taking and this is maybe my drug knowledge is coming out a little too much. If you're going to be taking like the orange 30 milligram instant release Adderalls, those are meth. That's just the fact of the matter. Those are methamphetamine. You're not going to find someone selling pressed dextroamphetamine and amphetamine mixes. It's not going to happen. Meth is super cheap, and putting dextroamphetamine into a pill is not cheap, especially at the rates you're seeing them on like those online markets or whatever.
Is, like he said, the duration of time.
And what meth actually is dextromethamphetamine. What Adderall is, 75% of it at least, is dexamphetamine. They're very similar, just the addition of the methyl group.
Bro, if the word dextro's in it, dude, that means it's similar.
Making it longer acting. And the reason I also like it to be longer acting for a looks-maxing context is stimulants cause appetite suppressants.
Yet again, kid knows ball. Yes, meth is an appetite suppressant, similar to pretty much all stimulants. Meth, Adderall, Vyvanse, Ritalin, all of those ADHD medications will make it hard to eat. Similar with cocaine or chat from Ethiopia, or really, I can't really think of any stimulant that's not an appetite suppressant. And as he's a looks maxer, he's always trying to be as skinny and perfect. He's really into starving himself, and meth will definitely help you. He actually has a clip when he first started talking about this.
So I actually do have a new lean maxing strategy that's quite controversial. And I'm not exactly going to advise that you do this. Basically, what I did was, for 3 days, I spammed a combination of Adderall and methamphetamine for appetite suppression. And I literally went on a 3-day fast and stayed awake the entire time. And I lost 5 pounds, so...
3-day fast. That's called a bender. Oh, God. Drug talk aside, let's talk about a bit of the psychology of him, and then we're going to go into the overdose. So, if you haven't noticed, dude's autistic. I don't know if he actually has a formal diagnosis, but he's pretty open about this, and before he even said anything, you can watch his videos and be like, yeah, okay, you have autism. And so I think that naturally comes with a lot of
Doing some autism maxing, hell yeah. Releasing the jester. Unfortunate.
things. And one of those things, as far as relating to meth use, is a social awkwardness. He talks about being really socially awkward. And as we know, with a lot of stimulants, a side effect is that they can give you social confidence. You can feel like you're on top of the world. If you feel awkward and kind of like weird, then meth or Adderall or whatever can make you not second guess yourself. And he's talked about this, where he can sometimes use it as a crutch to socialize with girls or with people or to...
That's depressing. Imagine needing a fucking amphetamine just to be able to talk to girls. Jesus. These are the same type of people that would think that SSRIs or any of the sort of regular medication is some sort of evil drug of Satan while they're fucking taking meth.
a live stream. And honestly, this is where Clavicular is a little bit interesting for me, because similar to damn near everyone in his space of that internet, he says fucking racist stuff to be edgy. He says sexist stuff. He's just an edgelord, typical to all those guys in that space. But he's also autistic, and I can also just see a lot of myself in him. I can see that he's trying and just trying to figure out how to operate in this confusing world. Yeah, like I can see his humanity. You know, Nick Fuentes and like Andrew Tate, like I don't really see their humanity. I'm just like, you guys suck, just generally. This kid, I'm like hoping that he turns it around, and I think he might. And honestly, I think this overdose is probably the first step in the right direction. So let's talk about this overdose.
Holy. What? I was gone. Holy B. Dude. When did you last take blues? You want nutty? You want nutty? Holy shit, dude, I'm trying my best, but I'm destroyed right now.
I've been there. So these are live streams from the night that he actually overdosed.
God, he's the worst person to be high around, bro. God.
And he looks pretty fucked up. And it was actually kind of hard for me to figure out what the actual drug was, because the term that I found on Reddit was that he took a pentastack, which is some fucking stupid shit that his friends made up. I don't know. Now, what is a pentastack?
Right now, pentastack is Adderall, DXM, ketamine, BDO.
No, not
prodrug of
BDO.
GHB,
It's 5 Hour Energy.
and pre-GABA. Thank you.
It's such an insane mixture. Wow. And that's not true. It was not 5 Hour Energy. If it was 5 Hour Energy, he wouldn't have taken that little shot glass of the cap. That was BDO. We'll explain. First ingredient is Adderall, which is levoamphetamine and dextroamphetamine. It's just a stimulant. It's going to make them feel social.
He uses psychosis maxing, my guys. Taking Adderall and ketamine and TXM all together.
Outgoing and have a good time, right? Give them energy. Hold on. Oh, my food just came. Oh, so the second ingredient is DXM. When I've seen other people cover this story, they describe DXM as cough syrup, which, like, yes, but no. I think a lot of them think that DXM is like rapper lean, like cough syrup. That's a completely different thing. Completely different thing. Lean is two chemicals. It's promethazine and codeine. Codeine is an opioid. Think of similar to like oxycodone or fentanyl. Codeine is just a really shitty one. And promethazine is what we call a first-generation antihistamine. Basically, it's allergy medication that makes you really sleepy. When you combine those things together, you just feel really relaxed. You feel really sleepy. You feel really warm and just like, ugh. DXM, dextromethorphan, is Robitussin or NyQuil. It's a completely other thing. People call it robo-tripping, and it's, people will, especially kids, people will do a higher dose than you're actually supposed to, and it causes this kind of weird mental state. Actually, of all the drugs, I've done all of what they described except for DXM. I've never tried DXM. To me, it sounds very disassociative, very trippy, but if you have experienced DXM, please comment below, help people understand it. But it's a bit of...
I've never done a really high dose of DXM. I do have experience with it, though. I never did a high enough dose for it to be truly dissociative. For what I hear, the doses for that is closer to like the 300, 200, maybe 400 range of milligrams. I've always did like 140. I think around 140 to 160 was my max. For me, it was like a silly cannabis type of feeling. Not really super dissociative. I've done ketamine before, and that is incredibly dissociative, especially at higher doses like 80, 90 sort of milligrams. But beyond that, ketamine or DXM, I have not really have enough experience in, because I always felt like every time I took it, it made me fucking retarded. And maybe that's already true, but
a bit of a weird one, and many people suffer from an addiction from it nowadays. The next drug in the pentastack is ketamine, which the previous two drugs they probably ate. They probably ate the pill or they drank the DXM. Ketamine they probably snorted.
Yep.
What ketamine is what we call a general dissociative anesthetic. Big ol' lots of words that basically mean it disassociates you from your body. We use it in surgery often. It's often seen as the horse medicine, but it's very commonly given to humans in surgery. It's very useful because it kind of can make your body feel numb, but it really does, like, to go on like a deeper level. It feels like the sense of you that you are gets separated from your body, and you can kind of almost like, it's weird. Like I've said this before, someone will touch your arm and you'll feel like it's not your own arm. It's very interesting. It's also very useful in treating treatment.
Very often with me, I would take a dose of ketamine, and the feeling is like I look in a mirror and I'm seeing myself because I'm looking in a mirror, but the feeling is that you're looking at somebody else. It truly isn't a strikingly odd. It's a great experience. It is strikingly weird. Maybe not weird. Weird is probably not a great word. Definitely very different feeling. It definitely feels weird to dissociate from your own body, essentially.
Resistant depression. People who tried SSRIs and didn't work for them, ketamine can often help some people. And so if you're following this pentastack, with these three, they are probably feeling energized because of the Adderall. Their veins are feeling more constricted. They're feeling more like kind of amped up. But then they're also, with these last two, DXM and ketamine, feeling disassociated from their body. A little bit weird. You can feel like you can't control your body at high doses of these things. I've definitely done that. High dose of ketamine is called a K-hole. It's a trippy experience. Okay, what's the next drug?
BDO.
No, not BDO. It's 5 Hour Energy.
BDO. Okay, so he says, no, it's not BDO. It's 5 Hour Energy. That's a joke. That's the 5 Hour Energy has been emptied out, and they've put a chemical inside called 1,4-BDO or 1,4-butanediol.
This is something I've actually never heard of, so
I think that's how you say it. I think. The reason that I know that that's 1,4-BDO inside and not 5 Hour Energy is because notice at the end, he takes the cap of it and takes a shot. You don't do that with 5 Hour Energy, but 1,4-BDO, it's a liquid that is so potent that you only need that small little cap to get a dose. It's pretty strong. Now, 1,4-BDO is, it's one of those substances that I don't really like to talk about a lot because it's one of those drugs in the legal gray market, and I just don't want to, spread the word. 1,4-BDO is what we call a prodrug. So when you drink 1,4-BDO, it's this really disgusting liquid. It's very, very, very bitter and very like viscous, kind of like almost like oil. When 1,4-BDO is in your body, it actually gets converted to another drug that you might be familiar with, which is G or GHB, or the date rape drug. The fact that it's called the date rape drug is a little unfair. That was just like some shit that happened when we were kids that they started calling it that. GHB is a very enjoyable substance for a lot of people. It's kind of like alcohol, but if you made alcohol a lot more like sexual and like your body feels just really The first time I did it, I described it as almost feeling like my entire body was having an orgasm for like an extended period of time. It's like, I think from my memory, lasts around like 1 to 2 hours. And 1,4-BDO, like I said, is in the gray market. So it's used to make, I think, plastics. And so it kind of exists in this thing where you can buy the chemical 1,4-BDO, and if it's not for getting high, then it's legal, right? It's a weird chemical. It's this liquid that also, at like almost room temperature, is its freezing point. So if it's like, you know, cold in your house, you'll literally see this and it'll be like a literal block of ice of this chemical. It's really interesting. It like you can warm it up with your body heat. It's weird stuff. But it's GHB, and the thing with GHB and BDO that makes it so dangerous is that people don't bring around syringes and measuring flasks and all that when they're out partying, and so you often eyeball it, and it's a liquid, and so you can often, not even realizing it, take too much, and it does not take a lot to take too much. The first time I did BDO, I did nothing else. I just did BDO, and I essentially overdosed. Like, I did exactly what you see Clav do. It's so easy to take too much because of its liquid nature and just how you take it, that you just keep kind of dosing, because that's kind of a lot of people do it. And if you just overtime it, you just do a little bit too much at the wrong time, it is a horrendous experience. I didn't black out, surprisingly, but I remember like feeling so nauseated. I lost the ability to walk. My cousins had to carry me out of the bar. It was super embarrassing. And I vomited indescribably. I could not stop vomiting. It was horrendous. Now, the final drug is Pregab, or pregabalin, which is, how do I describe pregabalin? It's like a nerve medication. Like people with fibromyalgia or just general.
I haven't done pregabalin. I have done gabapentin, so I can't really speak on the effects of pregabalin myself.
Nerve pain, it's often a medication given to them. Similar to also like gabapentin, which is often used in addiction centers to help people get off of certain drugs. It's not great for that, but people do it. Pregabalin is a pill, okay? I actually have a lot of experience with pregabalin. When I was in Peru, I really don't like to drink alcohol, and I did a lot of pregabalin when I went to the club because I preferred pregabalin to alcohol. Now, the thing about pregabalin is, how do I describe it? One, really late onset. So you take it, and it can take, if memory serves, it's like 2 hours to hit. It's a long time, how that makes it dangerous, especially in Clav's situation, is that if you have all these other drugs that you're taking at the same time, if you take a pill and you have to wait 2 hours, you can often forget that you've taken it, or maybe you think, I didn't take enough, because it just takes so long. And then when it hits, let me tell you, when pregabalin hits, it hits, right? Especially, depending on the dose you're taking. If you're taking 150 milligrams upwards, it's a strong experience. And what you feel, at least from my experience, is your body feels very loose, very loose. I become obsessed with dancing. I love dancing on pregab. It's like a really, you're just kind of, I don't care, and free, and your body just feels really relaxing. It also has side effects of eating a lot. I get indescribably hungry with pregabalin, so hungry. It's like more than weed. I'm just eating. So that's a pentastack. Wow, that is an insane mixture. That is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So many things. Wow. So all of those things combined, you have the kind of energy that you get from Adderall, then you have this weird headspace that you're given with DXM and ketamine, and kind of this body disassociation where you kind of feel numb. BDO that's making you kind of sedated, kind of drunk, and maybe a little horny, which Adderall also makes you horny, but also maybe some nausea. And then on the last thing, you have pregabalin, which also can cause nausea, but also you're just feeling really, really loose, completely right? Yeah, that is an insane night. That is a lot. Just, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. What happened with Clav after that is that he passed out on camera. They turned the camera away when he passed out, and they took him to the hospital, and he messed up his pretty little face. Oh, so sad. Yeah, I mean, I was young and dumb. Sometimes I still am, so I get it. No judgment. Let's hope he just stops being an asshole and maybe be a little bit more careful. Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Jesus. I'm fucking jester maxing. What a fucking retard. I'm gonna pull that video up again of him being escorted out or whatever. Bro can't drug max. It's so unfortunate. Too weak. But yeah, this is insane. Young kid's gonna be dead at like fucking, I mean, I'm literally his age. He's gonna be dead in 5 years if he continues doing what he's doing. I didn't realize he literally actually took methamphetamine on purpose. That's news to me. That really is news to me. Well, it sucks to fuck.